My name is Erin Spradlin. I co-own Erin and James Real Estate. If you like this content or you want more of it, a like and subscribe always helps. I'm also trying to answer comments both in the thread, but also in these videos. So if there's anything that you want addressed, please reach out. As a reminder, we are active real estate agents. So we work with buyers, sellers, investors. We do short-term and medium-term investors typically, and we work in the Denver and Colorado Springs area. I will put links to that below as far as our website, Erin and James Real Estate. We also have a podcast, I'll link there. And then if you are looking for a book on medium-term rentals, how to get midterm rentals, I wrote this. It is called American Nomads, Finding and Renting to Remote Workers. You can get it on Amazon, either as a paperback or as Kindle. And the checklist that we'll talk about comes from the back of this book. Something I want to talk about before we get into the checklist, though, is just saving yourself a boatload of headaches. And what that means is switch out a problem early. And I'll talk about it specifically with the rental that I just flipped over that is a 4-bed, 2-bath. But where it comes from and where I learned it from was a property that we had in Denver. So we have a 1-bed, 1-bath condo rental that we use as a medium-term rental up in Denver. And that property, people kept coming in and having a negative reaction to it. And it was really frustrating to us because we were having it professionally cleaned. You know, it was IKEA furniture, but it was nice enough. I will say though, we were aware that there was a stain on the couch in the living room and it kind of grossed us out, but we were like, hey, you know, it's rental furniture, it's people in and out. But after we had 2 different female guests check in, immediately take a picture of that photo and then say to us, I'm not really comfortable staying here. I feel weird about it. We switched it out and there's been no issue since, and we've been renting it for a year since we switched out that couch. And we had those 2 incidences within 6 months after that stain showed up. So I know that's really gross and you probably don't want to think about it. I'm not enjoying thinking about it. But, you know, I think the lesson learned there was that it immediately set the wrong impression. And I know I talk about this with yards, but I think it's also important to think about it with furniture and just landlording in general. You can save yourself a lot of time and headaches by just addressing the issue quickly and getting it in and out, and also setting the right impression when someone walks in. We had animosity between us and the tenants when they walked in and saw that stain, but one of them left altogether. So we lost a week or 2 while we were trying to get another tenant because they were so freaked out. And it's like, just bite the bullet, pay the $700 for a new couch, get out the old couch, have somebody from Facebook Marketplace come and take the couch, which is what we did. So it's not like we had to pay anyone or do it. And we just had that couch removed and it's been smooth sailing since. Man, we should have just gotten rid of that couch. We knew it was kind of gross and we just didn't want to deal with it. So basically, don't be a slumlord, be a proactive landlord and address issues quickly. Which brings me to my second point. So this house that we just flipped the other day, I've talked a lot about the yard, but something that came up when we were doing the flip the other day is that the laundry machine, I knew that they were old. So the washer and dryer, they came at the house when we purchased it. And they felt old. They felt like, you know, they're going to go eventually. But when we were there, I was doing a load of clothing, you know, towels and stuff before they showed up. And when I was doing this, it started to leak all over the place. Now, obviously, this is a problem in a big way as the landlord because you don't want water leaking all over your floors all the time. And the tenants don't want that either, right? Like, so that's going to put them in a nasty position. It's going to be a headache for you. And down the road, it's going to be expensive and not pleasant either. So we just immediately, when that happened, replaced the washer and dryer. So part of the reason why we were so quick to get new appliances in there versus having somebody come out and look at it is that James and I, in our personal residence, inherited a bunch of appliances, a stove, both a stove and a washing machine that broke within 6 months. And we had people come out and look at them. But by the time you pay for the service call and then they give you the quote for what it's going to cost, it's almost the same, we found, for both the washing machine and the stove as just replacing them. So when we did the flip on this property and we recognized that there was an issue with the washing machine and that the dryer looked old too, we just decided we're not going to have anyone come out and service this. We're just going to pay to have a new one brought in and to have someone take it out. It also, I think, set a good tone and a right tone with the tenants because they were happy that we weren't giving them any trouble or like having people in and out trying to fix it. It's like, look, we will take care of problems quickly. And I think that can go a long way. Something else with tenants is they came in a day early, so they had to pay a hotel bill. I knew that we could flip the property one day early for them. And so I just let them stay, one night free on us because the lease didn't start until Sunday, but they got there on Saturday. And they could cancel their hotel and get the money back. And again, this is sort of a long-term investment. It's a way to be nice to people as well. But one thing I like about it is that if there's an issue down the line, they might give us more grace because we've been generous with them up front and we've started the relationship right. So always something to think about. This is something that comes up in real estate a lot too, is like when you are putting in the sales contract or getting really finicky about something, you just need to think about the implications. Do you want to die on that hill if you know the inspection is coming up or if the appraisal might not hit in the future? You might want to retain that bargaining power for a bigger thing down the line. All right, so let's get to a checklist. Okay, so let's talk about what you should have in your bedrooms. All right, so hangers. This is very helpful. When I go to hotels, I immediately hang up all my clothes. Definitely if I'm gonna stay somewhere for a long time, I want hangers. A queen or king mattress. So I will say for a while, James and I were putting in foals and calling them an IKEA queen, like kind of pretending like it was a European thing. People figured that out quickly and they did not love it. So I would say a queen or king mattress. I think it goes a long way. I think if you have the space for a king mattress, it is really appealing to certain people, like my husband. But I think a queen is sufficient. I have 2 sets of sheets here, but as I have mentioned before on this channel, I am now advising tenants, to come in with their own sheets and their own towels and their own kitchen towels, because these are items that walk off all the time. And so then they show up and they don't have it. Usually they don't mind bringing their own. There's a comfort in bringing something from home, especially something so intimate. And as long as you set that expectation up front, they're okay with it. But in the past, I would say 2 sets of sheets for both. Now I just tell the tenants, bring your own. Duvet or comforter, I do provide that. And I also usually provide a basket full of blankets so that if they're watching TV or anything, they have different levels that they can use for the heating. 2 pillows per bed, no surprise there. Lighting, so a bedside table on each side of that queen or king with lighting. James and I bought something off of Amazon, and it's a light, but it's also a charger for phones, and I think that is very useful. It's just a nice thing to do. It's definitely not necessary, but I think bedside tables on both sides are good. It also just photographs well, that they come in and they see it's going to be easy to use, and also it looks like a space that someone would want to be in that's been given some thought. Power strip for charging, just making sure that they have a lot of options for outlets, because if you're really targeting remote workers or people that are in white collar work but traveling all over the US or other countries and working for an extended amount of time, you don't know where they're going to work or why they might need to work. If they have friends or family come and visit that are all hanging out in the kitchen or the living room where they normally work, if there isn't a dedicated office space, they might just be working there. Also, it's a good place to charge up your electronics and stuff at the end of the night. So I really am like pro power strip a lot of places. And then a full length mirror. I just think when it's not necessary that it has to be in the bedroom, although I do think that's nice, but somewhere in the unit, you should have a full length mirror so people can get ready and see what they look like before they leave. Is it mandatory? No. Will it make a huge difference? No. But it's just in general, think about the things that you use most when you're getting ready and then apply those to your rental. And I think that will go a long way with people. Something else that you should think about when you are furnishing a bedroom or any room in the house is creating a scene. So making it look like the way that you would use it and kind of photographing it at that time. So in the book, I talk about an example where someone is advertising a property, and it was like winter when I was doing the search. Well, the property photo showed a pool and it felt like summertime. So there was an incongruence about how you're going to use the property versus what they're advertising. And so I think it would have been more appropriate maybe to have a Christmas tree. This was actually a hotel photo that was doing Airbnb, but it would have been better to use like a Christmas tree or something to set the mood for the season. And then in the summertime, switch to like white lights and a patio and a pool. But think about how people are going to use it and how they're going to want to use it, and then stage it that way. So that, again, it's really easy for them to put themselves in that picture, and write your description that way too. You and your family can sit around the fireplace, playing board games or watching your kids video out hard all night long, whatever. If you have walls and you're putting art on them, think about the size of that piece. It is awkward when you're looking at photos and there's a little TV on a gigantic wall or a little piece of art on a gigantic wall. That does catch people's eyes, and it immediately says that it's not like a designer place or a place where the aesthetic has really been thought through. And so I think that will get you, if you do that, where you have the smaller art or the smaller TV, you will attract tenants that don't care about that stuff. And those same tenants don't want to pay as much. And I make this point in the book, and I try and caveat it by not being sexist, but I think typically who's not going to care about that are young single men. Women might care about it more. So again, just thinking about who you want as a tenant and who would care about that and who will pay more. And I think having wall art that's appropriate for the size of the wall can go a long way. All right, hope that was helpful. Again, like and subscribe if you like this content. That helps us a lot. For those of you that have bought the book, thank you so much. It's awesome. And if you have questions or comments, drop them below. I will respond and also try and make videos about it. Thanks again.